is something where we can kind of chime in, say what we're going to do on the release of Honkai Star Rail, because a lot of people are hyped for this game, me included.
Stop the cap.
And in this video, we'll be going over my final and improvised release plan for the game. Let's get right into it. Hello everyone, Toshi here. This will be the absolutely final release plan we have for Honkai Star Rail. I know that is breaking your heart, it's breaking mine too, because I am too indecisive, and with this I shall make my mind, but I'm going to try and make it also as informative as possible for all of you, because I assume that all of you also, or most of you that are watching this video, also want to have some shape or form of a release plan for the game. So let's get into it. Let's kick it off here. We'll go over what we already know as a quick brush up for maybe those that already don't know about the actual amount of pools we get in the beginning of the game. Let's just go over it, right? 10 free Star Rail passes for logging in 7 days as soon as you make your account on Honkai Star Rail. You'll be able to claim this via events like you did in Genshin Impact, where you click on the event tab and then you will have this pop up as one of the events, and then you can click on claim and it will be time gated, so you only get a certain amount of pools each day, and on the last day you get the most pools, right? Pretty self-explanatory. Here's something to keep in mind. If you are making multiple reroll accounts, I think it's probably in your best interest to have maybe 20 different accounts.
No.
Next up, we have a trailblazing wheel. Now, as you all have seen previous videos, I did showcase this, and I actually am happy that they added this to what you guys also get for playing the game. You know, we had this in CBT, closed beta testing, and I was very fortunate enough to be able to obtain this. So like I said before, I'm very glad that you and everyone else, right, can get this upon playing the game. Now, it is 40 free Star Rail passes. These are standard banner pools, and 1,600 Stellar Jades, right? Which you can convert to 10 limited pools if you choose to do that. If you don't choose to do that, then, you know, you can convert it or you can hold it, whatever you choose to do. I personally will convert it because I like to convert my currency to passes. I don't know why I like to do that. Same thing in Genshin, where I convert my Primo Gems to Fates. Okay, and then we have an additional 20 pools from the login pre-registration. The crazy part about this is that every player will get this upon logging in. You don't, it doesn't matter how many accounts you make in the future, you will have this as soon as you make your account for the first time. And this will be indefinitely, right? It's the same in Genshin Impact, where you also get the pools for pre-registration of that game, even if you make an account 3 years later after the game release, literally. And so having those 20 passes will be really nice for rerolling. I don't believe, there is no telling when we will get the passes of what level, what the criteria is in order to get the rewards. I don't know if you have to be level 10, I don't know if you be level 12, but if it's like Genshin Impact, and I imagine somewhere around level 12-ish, level 9 or 12-ish, you should have all the rewards here. So in terms of rerolling, we'll have to figure that out, but that's a video we'll make in the near future. Now let's brush up on the banners really quick. This is the beginner banner, the banner that Toshi says he's gonna skip in every single video.
Shut your
I make it very known, and yeah, I know I'm a degenerate for doing this. That's why I told you all I am insane in the membrane. I don't think you should follow what I'm doing in my steps. You should probably summon on the beginner banner because you get the most value summoning on this early and then going on the other banners later, because the chances of you getting a dupe from here, and this is saying you are actually rolling, right? Let's say you reroll, you go on this banner.
One eternity later.
I suggest you roll in this banner here, get 1 or 2 characters, be satisfied with it, and play the game, right? The standard banner, as you all know, Toshi's insane in the membrane. I say this all the time. Don't follow what I'm doing. I'm simply just telling you what I'm doing. It's like financial advisor advice, right? Where you tell someone to not put all their money into stock, and you're like, yeah, I'm not a financial advisor. You have to constantly repeat that. I have to keep telling you all this because I know that some people are going to do what I'm doing, and you're also pretty insane in the membrane. Mentally ill you are. Now, anyways, you have a 1 in 14 chance of obtaining what you want from the standard banner. I made this, I said this in previous videos, right? 1 in 14 chance of obtaining Brania, Himiko, light cones. Maybe you want a light cone specifically for your character. It's the same across the board. Now, your chances of obtaining everything on this banner is going to be I highly doubt anyone playing, right, is going to obtain every single thing on the standard banner free to play for the next 5 years. You're going to be constantly missing something from this banner. Yeah, because there's 14 items you can obtain, 5-star items, right? But personally, I will be going on this banner for my rerolls. And speaking of rerolls, I will tell you guys the characters I will be going for. Okay, before I actually do tell you the characters I'm going to be rolling for, let me just say the reason why I'm actually going on a standard banner, because I have to keep in mind that a lot of you probably have not seen my other videos, is because of this selector here. I can choose a character I want sooner rather than later, because I will have saved more pools from the standard banner rolling on that than rolling on the beginner banner. Because as you all know, or if maybe you don't know, the beginner banner pools do not count towards this selector here.
Out of pocket for that shit.
You don't get those pools counted towards this. And let's say you get a dupe on the beginner banner. Ugh! You're gonna be crying. Imagine getting a dupe of a Clara. And it's like, really? You know, it's gonna be one of the most disappointing things that could happen to your account. Okay, next up we have Seal's banner. So as you all know, getting this character is gonna be extremely hard. And I'm pretty sure I made at the time of recording this, you probably have seen the previous video we uploaded on the channel. And I want to preface and say we don't have enough pools to actually guarantee a limited character, okay? That video, we went over the 2 limited characters, and I mentioned that you won't have enough pools to guarantee one of the 5-star limited characters in this patch. And so with that being said, do you really want to play the 50-50 game? Let's say you spend all of your pools to go all the way to Seal's, the pity on Seal's banner, right? You hit 80 pools into the banner, which is going to be on average for most people that play this game. 80 pools on Seal's banner, and you miss the character, and you get a 5-star dupe of your Jeopard. Oh my god! I would probably quit the game after that. That's very disheartening and very disappointing and very frustrating. So that's why I'm probably, if I do try to go for Seal, I will re-roll for this character and try to get her in the couple pools we get once we are able to roll on the banners right in the beginning of the game. But aside from that, if I get a good account in the beginning and it doesn't have Seal, I'm just gonna skip the character because there's nothing more disheartening than going all the way to pity and absolutely luking and missing the character and getting a dupe for a character you don't want. And the 4 stars here aren't really enticing. I mean, Natasha is great, but you don't really need any constellations for the character, if I'm being honest, you don't. Hook is great, you don't really need constellations, very good character at the first pool you get. What is it, C1, right? C0, excuse me, C0, really good. And then Pela, a good C0 character. Like, these are all good characters C0, you really don't need constellations for them. So that's why I don't really recommend going on this banner. I made the mistake of going on this banner when I was playing in the closed beta testing, and I got absolutely obliterated. I got Himiko, and I want to cry. Now, Toshi's first choice for the 5-star characters I will be rerolling for is going to be Brania. This character is absolutely gorgeous, and I mean that with everything in me. This character is amazing. As you all know, I am a Kashing main in Genshin Impact, or maybe you don't know. Well, now you know. Yeah, that's part of the reason why I like this character's design a lot. But anyway, she's a really good 5-star character, wind element, right? Harmony at that, which means she gives buffs to your team. She's really good to pair with a character like Seal or any other damage dealer in the game. This character is going to be the best character in the standard banner you could pull. The reason why she's the best character is because there needs to be one good character on the banner so that they can entice and bait whales into rolling for that character, right? That's the reason why on the standard banner you have a 1 in 14 chance of obtaining this character, and there's a selector at 300 pools. Not really generous, but I'm exposing the truth here. And I probably shouldn't, because Hoiver is like, hey, we just did this for you. Do you really want to expose us? And I'm like, you know what? I probably shouldn't, because you guys are going to hate me after this. But I'm being honest. This is character is to bait whales into pooling her and going for her constellations because they're really valuable. This character is so broken, and her constellations are even more broken. I don't think she's going to get nerfed, if I'm being honest, because as I said before, there needs to be one super strong character on the banner to entice and bait whales into rolling constantly for that character. Think of duluk at 1.0 for Genshin Impact. Now, of course, duluk fell off, right? And that's because they introduced Hu Tao, Yoimiya, right? I think duluk is still pretty good. Deja vu. Next up, I made a video a while back. This was actually the first character we got on the account when we were playing in the closed beta testing, and it was Clara. This character was actually surprisingly really good from when I was using her. I did talk a little bit of trash on the character, but she opened up doors to a very new playstyle that we don't, or that no other character existing can do in Honkai Star Rail. The counterattack playstyle with March 7th and Clara is really cool. It's really cool that you can just put an auto and not have to do anything. Now, granted, March 7th sometimes doesn't put the shield on Clara, which is kind of frustrating. So in those situations, you probably should not auto, but this character is really good with March 7th, like extremely good. You don't want to use her with a character like Jeopard, because Jeopard can be hit by, you know, the enemy more than Clara, higher chance than Clara, or it can really mess with Clara's kit because of the chances of him getting hit by the enemy goes up. So you really don't want to use her with Jeopard, even though he is a shield character, which is probably what you need. You also don't want to use her with the Trailblaze main character, because that character also has a taunt in the kit whenever you want to put a shield on you, on your team. And that's why I will be using her with March 7th instead, because March 7th just puts a shield on that one ally. And when you're fighting against a boss that uses big, super strong single target attacks, Clara can tank that shot well, have a nice giant shield, target more aggro from the enemy, and counterattack back, dealing massive damage. She also has very nice AoE on her E skill, and overall she would provide more value than any other physical character in the game currently. Very, very nice 5-star character, and she'll get even better when you get her gear. The gear will make all the difference on this character. I want this character, surprisingly, and I know this is a shocker to all of you, especially the amount of videos I went over just absolutely trashing on the character. But then you all roasted me in the comment section of those videos telling me, Toshi, you're not using her March 7th. You're an idiot. And you're right, I am an idiot. And I started using her March 7th, and I realized how good this character is. She's pretty good. Next up, we have Welt. This is another character I will be going for in the rerolls. So he's the third option. Personally, he'll probably be the character I'm least excited to get, as surprising as that sounds. But still, he's a really good character. One of the only imaginary characters we have in the game so far. Think of it as a light element, although the light element doesn't associate itself with a lower rarity or lower drop rate in the game. So, you know, that's at least there, right? Yeah, he's a really good imaginary debuffer. You put him with a character like Den Heng, and Den Heng will have more value, more stonks, right? Because he will have a slow on the enemy, and Den Heng can go in and nuke for massive damage on his ultimate. Those two characters perform really well together, and Welt is Sosuke Yang, right? Sosuke Yang, if you get what I'm trying to put down here. And then we have Bailu here. This character is really broken. So broken that I put her super high. I rate her super high in every video we make going over the character. We know how strong this... Well, actually, I need to explain how strong this character is if you don't already know. She gives a lot of healing to your team. She has a revive in her kit. She can boost damage with her constellations, with her eidolons, right? Her light cone boosts damage as well for your allies. This is a really strong character. She does everything Chi-Chi wanted to do. She did everything players wanted Chi-Chi to do in Genshin Impact, which would have made Chi-Chi really strong. Healing, damage amplifications, a revive without having constellations on the character is so freaking good. With her being lightning element, you could put her in the lightning dot team against lightning bosses, and it gets so much value out of the character. Imagine putting her in a team with Sampo, Kafka, Serval, Bailu. You have a really strong dot team there. You can also boost their damage, as I said before, with your constellations and with your light cone. And being able to revive one of those allies in case anyone dies on that team is extremely valuable, because having a dead ally in a dot team is going to hurt massive amounts to your DPS, right? So this character is undisputably the second best option on the banners, right? The beginner banner and the standard banner, aside from Brania. So Brania, Bailu, top two best characters you can go for in the beginning of the game. And I think she's really good for casual players too. Let's say you're a player like me and you can't dodge. I mean, you can't dodge in this game anyways. But let's say you have skill issue like me, right? You have skill issue. This is the best character for you because she allows you to play with your brain off. The character is extremely good. She's very easy to play. Nothing really hard about her in any mechanical sense. And she provides so much value for your team comps. And ideally, when you get to the end game, right, you want to have two healers anyways. So you want to have one healer for one team and one healer for the other team. So you have Natasha for one team, which is a 4-star free healer you get in the game, and then 5-star Bailu you get for the other team, right, that you would get in the beginning of the game. And when you do those floors or those later floors in the Spiral Abyss equivalent in this game, Honkai Star Rail, you will have two healers, one on each floor, and you won't have to worry about fluking on those floors because you miss out on DPS because one of your characters are dead. You can't dodge hits, and shielding, I feel like, is going to be a mechanic that gets worse in the future because of things like corrosion could exist, right? It exists in Genshin Impact. Why wouldn't corrosion exist in Honkai Star Rail? That's an easy way for them to dunk on the main character while the main character is still strong as is, right? I'm just throwing that out there. It's a chance it could come into... I'm not a Hoyoverse developer or anything. I'm just saying that this could happen. But yeah, Bailu, an amazing 5-star healer. You won't regret ever getting her, ever. So then we went over my 4 standard banner character reroll options. And now we'll go over my limited character I want to save for in the future. I'm sorry I have a pixelized blurry image on the screen here. It's like the best image I could find, but we got to play with her in the beginning of the game when you first start in the closed beta, right? So the little demo version, you got to play with Kafka for a little bit. It was really cool, really fun. The character is really nice design. She looks great. I really like the purple, I want to say the reddish purple aesthetic color that the character has on her design. Looks really good. She also carries guns around like she's Deadpool. She has a blade too. Literally Deadpool as a female. It's great. She has shades on the front. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just cooming right now. I love everything about her design. But anyways, she puts dots on the enemies, which is really good. She boosts dot damage, which is also really good, making her a very strong ally to have in the Sampo dot team. She opens up a new playstyle for the future of Honkai Star Rail, and I'm really looking forward to this character's release. Now, as you can see here in this blurred image, if you can't see, there is a picture of Brania here right next to Kafka. And as I said before, these two characters I think are going to pair really well together. Brania boosts up the damage of Kafka. Kafka does dots, right? That's not her only source of damage. Kafka does do damage with her ultimate and with her elemental skill as well. So it's not just for her dots doing damage. Dots are just on top of the damage she already does currently. But yeah, this character is going to be really cool and really fun to play with, I imagine, so I can't wait for the release of this character. So I'll be saving up all my Stellar Jades for this character, and I probably will skip Silver Wolf. I know it's crazy I'm saying that, but I did mention to you all, I will be going for every single lightning character in the game going forward, and I can't break that promise. Lastly, I want to mention this. You can actually save your Star Glitter in Honkai Star Rail, just like you would have in Genshin Impact Star Glitter. You get this from any dupe character you get on the gacha. So whenever you roll on the gacha and you get a dupe of a character you already own, you get the Star Glitter right here in the top right where my cursor is, and this will count towards a Star Glitter shop. You can exchange those Star Glitters for passes for the rolling on the gacha and more, or you can exchange them, save up, exchange for 4-star character dupes, or maybe a character you don't already have. So let's say I didn't have Pela, I could pick up Pela if I save enough dupe coins, or you can save up to get a light cone of a 5-star character in the future. Now, if you are going the route, if I'm being honest, if you're going the route of going for a 4-star character, you get more value saving up for one of these 5-star light cones because your chances of obtaining these light cones on the banners are very slim to none. Now, we did go over the value of Brania's light cone in the previous video, right? When we went over Brania as a character. Her light cone is nothing to scoff at. You get energy recharge rate for the welder, right? So you can put it on Brania or Ting Yun and get energy recharge for them, which is really good for getting your ults. You also get a lot of value in the sense of you give energy to your ally. Giving energy to your ally is really valuable. So having that on Ting Yun is going to make her extremely nice battery on your team. And you also get a skill point whenever you use your ult, which is really nice. So being able to give a skill point to, you know, your team comps is really good because skill points is the only way you can do damage pretty much in this game. You need skill points to do damage, and being able to get an additional skill point by just pressing your ult, right? On a character, you're going to press it on anyways. It's amazing. So that's why I said this is the best light cone probably on this banner I can see this for. Really, really good 5-star light cone Branias. And then Bailu's is really good because Bailu's amplifies the damage of your characters. Really strong light cone, especially if you put it on Natasha, you can put it on Bailu. Has really nice damage amplifications. Really good. These two. And then Clara's is also pretty good for her, right? It increases her overall tankiness, which is nice for her as a bruiser. But these two are very universal. Very good for the classes they're respective in, right? Brania is really good for buffers, and then Bailu's is really good for healers. Hopefully you got something out of this video. I tried to make it as informative as possible, and maybe I probably failed in the process, right? Let's talk about the reality situation. I probably showed all of the characters I'm going for, but I was most likely cooming over Kafka and like Brania or something, right? And then I told you all I was like skipping the beginner banner, and a lot of you probably molding after hearing me say that. I recommend you go on the beginner banner, right? Reroll that banner and then go into standard banner. That is the most optimal way to play the beginning of the game, right? But if you are insane in a membrane like Toshi, then you will be skipping the beginner banner and you will be going on the standard banner and rolling on that banner, re-rolling on that banner, and continuing your pity on that banner to go towards the selector because you are mentally ill, okay? I have to preface that. Mentally ill. Anyways, that's going to be the video here. Thank you all for watching and have a nice rest of your day. Peace.